And today, China's foreign ministry releasing a statement which says in part, quote, China has consistently opposed unilateral sanctions and long-arm jurisdiction. China's commercial cooperation with Iran is open and transparent, reasonable, fair, and lawful, not violating any United Nations Security Council resolutions. Now, this comes after President Trump warned anybody trading with the Islamic Republic that they would be barred from doing business with the United States. To discuss this now, Michael Pregent, former intelligence advisor to General Petraeus. Michael, let me ask you very quickly, could we really sanction China if they continue to trade with Iran?
Well, China's been pouring billions of dollars into Iran's economy because Europe's been hesitant to actually engage Iran's economy. So I think at the end of the day, China, if the U.S. is serious about putting sanctions on China for moving Iran's oil and continuing to help Iran's economy, you could actually put pressure on China because Iran's economy is a shrinking economy. It's a $400 billion economy that simply isn't worth it anymore to Russia and China. So if the U.S. is serious, you could actually move China away from Iran. We'll just have to see whether or not the administration is serious about it.
Well, let me ask you this. We saw that, Daimler announced yesterday that they were going to freeze their production in Iran. We've seen the European Union's come out against what the United States is doing. Even Germany has said that this is the wrong action to take. And yet, the German central bank today stopped the shipment of, I think it was $400 million in cash to Iran. So essentially, the Germans are saying one thing, but doing something else, which is in line with what the administration wants. Is that correct?
Yeah, there's a disconnect between governments saying that their private sector should invest in Iran and the private sector. The private sector understands the risk of U.S. secondary sanctions. And it doesn't matter what government officials say in Germany or the EU. Private sector, the European private sector, is very hesitant to do business with Iran because they're worried about U.S. secondary sanctions.
I want to bring in James Carafano from the Heritage Foundation. Lieutenant Colonel James Carafano, retired. I got to ask you, I would be afraid of doing business with Iran, too, if I were a German manufacturer, because the United States can freeze assets and make it very difficult for me to conduct business around the world. That's really the bat that the United States is carrying in this, is it not?
Oh, look, let's be honest. This was dead deal walking even before the sanctions went in. I mean, let's go through the long list of people that were running to invest in Iran before the administration came in and said they were pulling out a deal. And the answer was there weren't a lot. There were very, very big companies like Boeing and who can take that risk. But smaller, more medium-sized companies, the kind of companies that would really get in there and prime the economy, they weren't jumping in to begin with because nobody wants. I mean, the Iranian banking system is corrupt, non-transparent. It doesn't meet international standards. It's very, very difficult to invest in Iran anyway.
James, I just want to ask you very quickly, got to get this in before the Trump administration announced new sanctions against Russia for using chemical weapons against the ex-spy and his daughter in the United Kingdom. I mean, does the United States have the oomph to make things difficult for Russia? And we're running out of time, so I need you to be quick, please.
When you go after individuals, I think they can actually be quite effective. But the more important is the symbolic. It's a reinforcement of our support for the British, and that's an important special relationship. So for that reason alone, they're important.
Russell, is this pie crust, action easily made, easily broken, or is it legitimate? Michael, I'm sorry, Michael.
Oh, hey, no, it's the right thing to do. I mean, the use of these toxins are at the highest level of the Russian government. So these sanctions are serious. Gotcha. And but I do agree that it does shore up our alliance with the British, yes.
Thank you both. Lou Dobbs is next, right here on the Fox Business Network.